Hey guys, good morning. It's Thursday. So you noticed you haven't seen much of Cocoa Pie lately. That's because he quit on me. He said, none of this math is about doggy bones, and that's the only thing I care about. So I am out of here. So it's a dog's life, I guess. We'll see him later. Maybe. Okay, you guys, so yesterday we put together all the knowledge of our um, horizontal lines and vertical lines, plus your knowledge of absolute value, and we mashed that all up together for you to be able to solve some word problems. So I'm going to hold this up real quick so that you can check your homework. So go ahead and grab this sheet or find the paper that you worked out your problems on and pull that out so that you can check to see how you did. If you missed any and you don't understand why you missed it, please send me an email. I will get back to you. I might even call you, but I want to make sure that you understand what you're missing so that we just keep the learning going and that when I see you guys again, we'll just pick up wherever we leave off with the digital lessons. All right. So grab your sheet. I'm going to hold this up. You can, hold on. You can pause it so you can check your work. Also, I have attached the PDF file of this document, so you can pull that up and check it more closely independently if you'd like to do that. Okay, so today we're learning something completely new, all right? So we've been working with our positives, negatives, number lines, pictures, putting it all together. What we're going to do today is we're going to put our vertical number line knowledge and we're going to connect it to our horizontal line knowledge. And we're actually going to be learning how to plot points on the 4-quadrant coordinate grid. So you can see that as I take this horizontal number line and the vertical number line and I merge the two, it creates 4 sections. Okay? It creates four sections. They're called quadrants. Okay? On your notes for today, and this one document, we're only going to use one today, is going to be our notes, so you can make marks here if you need to. And I'm going to walk you through the bottom piece of this to show you how to plot points on the coordinate plane. And then the work that you're going to do independently today is on the second sheet. Notice that I'm going to want you to pay attention to the signs that make a number fall into each of the quadrants, here, 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 and here. And then all of these letters are the names for the points. We're going to learn how to plot those on the grid, and you're going to label them. You're going to put the letter of that point so that you know where it's located. And then you're going to do just a little bit of individual practice here that will be your homework, and we will check tomorrow. Okay, so let's get started with our learning target. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'll have to refill in some of the notes. Not a problem. Okay, learning target. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to plot a point. That means locate it on the grid, like put it on the grid. You should be able to name it. That means tell its location. And label it, the point. But more importantly, you're going to be able to label or know the positioning of the 4 quadrants. Okay? Let me fill this in real quick. So at this point, please go ahead and refer to the bottom section of your notes, and we're going to make some notes on here. You can also refer to this. It does give you a clearer picture. But let's discuss the parts of the 4 quadrant coordinate grid first. So some of these things you already know. So whenever we have a horizontal line like that, we call that an axis. And what axis do you think that is? It's going to be the same as when we did our graphing unit last time with our bar graphs and our histograms. So what do we call the axis that is horizontal? You're right, that is the x-axis. That's the x-axis. And so of course now I'm going to ask you, what is the vertical axis called? And I know what you're thinking. Y-axis. I'm going to squeeze it in there. All right, so we have our x-axis, our y-axis. When we merge the 2 together, it creates 4 sections, which we call quadrants. Now, the quadrants are typically written in Roman numerals, so that the quadrant that you studied in elementary school was quadrant number 1. Okay, and that was all positive numbers, right? So if we look at a horizontal number line, we know that all the positives are right here. And if we look at a vertical number line, we know that all the positives are right here. So the reason that you studied just the first quadrant in elementary school is because positives is what you focused on. But now you know a little bit more, so you get to learn all the other sections as well. All right, now you would think that the rotation of the quadrant goes clockwise. And you would think that this is quadrant 2, which that's a common mistake. Actually, the rotation of the quadrants goes backwards. It goes counterclockwise. So this is what we call quadrant 2. And then we continue down. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. The way you write 4 in Roman numerals is IV. And I can teach you about how the Romans used to use their numerals, but that's a whole nother lesson. All right, so we have quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's one other very important point that you have to know, and that is the point in the center. That point has a special name. It is where the y and the x-axis begin their, okay, it's where the x and y-axis begin their lines. And where do lines begin? What number do lines begin at? Well, they begin at 0. So the name of that point is called the origin. And because both lines begin at 0, the location of that point of the origin is actually 0, 0. It makes sense because your x-axis would start at 0 and your y-axis starts at 0. So 0, 0, that's the origin. Okay. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit and talk to you a little bit about ordered pairs. So ordered pairs, by the way, if you need to backtrack the video a little bit. Make sure you do that. Pause it so you can get all the notes that we just completed here and copy them down on your guide here under the 4-quadrant plane. So ordered pairs, that is the name of what we call the location of each point. Like, how do you find each point? You're going to find each point by using its ordered pair. And an ordered pair is just, it's a set of numbers, okay, that are going to tell you the location based on how far you have to travel on the x-axis and how far you have to travel on the y-axis to get to that particular spot. Okay, so essentially the ordered pairs, it's like a set of directions. It's like turn left here, go north here. It's kind of like that. Okay, so let's break this down. So now you should be on the middle section. You should be on the middle section of your notes, and we're going to go ahead and write some stuff in here. Okay? All right. So let's just focus on the x-axis first. So if you focus on the x-axis, let me grab my number line. Okay, this would be representative of our x-axis. Now, in what directions does the x-axis travel? Does it travel up and down or left and right? Hopefully, you can see because it goes side to side, it's horizontal, it travels left or right, okay? So let's write down those two directions. So x can travel to the right, or it can travel to the left, right or left. Now guess what, you guys? The sign of the number that falls under the x will tell you whether you're going to the right, positive, or whether you're going to the left towards the negatives. Makes total sense. So we're going to add that signage, okay? So if the number is positive on the x, you're going to go to the right. If the number is negative on the x-axis, then you're going to go to the left so that you're traveling towards the negatives, right? It makes total sense. All right. Next is our y-axis. So look at the y-axis. In what directions, what two directions can the y-axis travel? Does it go left and right? No, it only goes up and down. Now notice, all the numbers that go up, boom, are positives, and all the numbers that go down, boom, are negatives. Just like our above sea level and below sea level problems that we were working on yesterday and a couple of days ago. So if the number, so the two directions for y-axis are up and down. Those are our two directions. And let's talk about the signs. If the number that falls on the y-axis is positive, you're going to go up. And if the number that falls that is negative on the y number, then you're just going to go down because you want to travel towards the negatives, right? Make sense? So now I'm going to walk you through a little bit of graphing, okay? On your note sheet, I have the same grid with the steps to how to graph points on there for you to refer to. You don't really have to add any notes to that. It's just there for you to use as a checklist. So let me fix this from when I had taped my number lines there. Okay, I think that's it. All right, so let's look at the directions. So whenever you're plotting a point, you're always going to start at the origin. Your origin is like home base, okay? That's where you're going to begin, okay? From there, with your pencil, you're going to move right or left, depending on if your number is positive or negative, okay? So move right or left based on the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate will be whatever number is under the x position. So we have to move right or left first, and then we move to the next step. Move up or down based on the y-coordinate. The y-coordinate is the specific name and position for the number that falls under the y, okay? Then once you have found whether you have to travel left or right and whether you have to travel up or down, wherever those two numbers meet, that's where you're going to place a dot. And usually you're going to name or label it some kind of letter, all right? So I think that we should get started. We're going to start with some easy ones, and then we're going to make it a little more difficult. So before we start, I'm going to put some numbers on my coordinate grid. So if I'm at the origin and I'm going to the right, that's going to be positive 1, 2, 3. If I'm at the origin and I'm going left, that's going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, on the y-axis, if I start at the origin and I go up, that's going to be 1, 2, positive, 3, positive. If I'm at the origin and I go down, that's going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. All right, so let's use this space to do some examples. Okay, let's plot point A. We're going to do A. Let's do real easy. Let's do like quadrant 1, like elementary school style, and then we're going to bump it up. All right, so if I say I want us to plot point 3, 2. So first of all, you can see that the x position is a positive 3. So are you going to the right or to the left? Okay, so this one is you're going to go to the right. And the 2, which is in the y position, is positive. So that means you're going to go up. So look at how it works. So we're going to start at the origin here. Don't put a point there, just hover with your pencil, okay? Hover with your pencil. Now you're going to travel to the right, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go up 2, 1, 2. So that's about right there, and I'm going to label it point A. Okay? For those of you that are gamers, video gamers, one way that I used to teach this to my elementary school kids is to envision Super Mario Brothers, right? He loves to like catch all his coins, but before he can jump, he's got to get some momentum, right? So he has to either run to the left, run to the right before he can jump and catch any coins. So run first, then jump, okay? All right, so we started at the origin. We moved right or left. We went 3 spots to the right. And then we moved up 2 because that's what it told us to do on the y-coordinate. And then where the two met, where X and Y met, that's where we plotted our point and we labeled it A. Okay? All right, let's try another one. Now let's go point B. Now let's say we're going to go -2, comma, +2. So your X goes left and right. So if it's negative, you have to go where? You have to go to the left. And your Y number is positive, so you have to go up. Okay, so let's follow our directions again. So we're going to start at the origin. We're going to move to -2, 2 to the left, hover, and then you're going to go up to +2 on the y-axis, put your point, and you are at B. Okay? And so that wasn't too bad, was it? Okay. Let's look at, I think I just want to do one more. One more, and then we're going to talk about two important things. Okay. C. Let's make it. Let's make them both negatives. So let's say -1, comma, -1. So if we start at the origin here, we're going to travel left, right? So left and down. So we're going to travel left to -1 and then down to -1. And we're going to label that point C. Okay? What do you think about that? All right. Now, one thing that we haven't discussed is labeling the quadrants. So if I want to add here to our list what quadrant each of these points fell on, what would you say? So look at A, point A. What quadrant did point A fall in? Refer to your notes if you have to. A is going to be quadrant 1. Okay. B is going to be quadrant, look at your notes. Remember the rotation, it goes counterclockwise. It's going to be quadrant 2. And point C is going to be quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3. Okay, so at this point we have plotted points. We have named them. No, we haven't named them. Let's do one like that. Let's do a naming one, okay? This time, I'm going to put D here, and I'm going to put the ordered pair blank, okay? And you are going to come up with the numbers. So, why don't we do this? Point D. All right, so tell me how to get to point D. Tell me how to get to point D. All right, so we're at the origin. Do I go down first? No, you cannot. Remember Mario Super Brothers. You have to run first. So to get to point D, I have to travel to +2 first. So I'm going to put +2. +2. And from there, I have to go down how many spaces? I have to go down 1, down 2, down 3. Down means -3. Let's repeat that. So you're at the origin, you're going to go to +2, and then you're going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. What quadrant is that? That is quadrant 4. Okay? Alrighty, you guys. So it is time to practice. Here's what I want you to do. Kind of have a lot of work today, but it's just plotting. At least you're not calculating anything. All right, so do me a favor. Put the signs of each of the quadrants here. We will go over that. Plot and label all of your points A through Q. Sorry, just kidding. A through all of these. Don't forget these. These are special ones. These are going to fall on an axis. These right here. We're going to talk about those tomorrow. And then you're going to take these points here and you're going to name the location. And then down here, you're going to take these points and you're going to add them to this grid. And don't forget to put the letters beside them. You have to label them. Okay? We will pick it back up tomorrow with your answers to this. And we're going to stay on the coordinate grid, I would say, for at least 2 more days. Okay, so probably through Monday or Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. There is an additional video from mathantics.com, which I suggest that you see. I think it will help you to understand the coordinate plane even better. All right, guys. See you later.